If you are looking to increase stamina, elevate focus, and hydrate with an artificial sweetener-free superior nootropic, then you need Birdie Brain. Birdie Brain is specially formulated to provide golfers with the key nutrients they need to excel on the course. With a blend of essential vitamins, minerals, and nootropics, Birdie Brain is designed to support hydration, focus, and cognitive function, helping you achieve your best golf game yet. Stay focused on your next shot with Birdie Brain's powerful combination of natural nootropics to keep those scores low, such as lion's mane mushroom powder. Birdie Brain's ultimate hydration formula with sea salt, coconut water extract, magnesium, sea minerals, and potassium will keep you fueled for all 18 holes and then some. Visit getbirdiebrain.com and sign up for email notifications to get 15% off your first order and never miss out on exclusive offers. Tell them the boys at Fairway Forecheck sent you. I use Birdie Brain anytime I need to pick me up, especially when I need to focus for a round or to shoot some content. My favorite flavor is the wild cherry. Spencer loves the pineapple mango, and Mason is an Arnold Palmer man himself. You just can't go wrong with any flavor. Visit getbirdiebrain.com to get yours today. Welcome back to a freshly squeezed episode of Fairway Forechecks, and we are waiting on Christopher Peterson Mason. So
he's getting his dial-up internet going.
Like always, it's his world. We're just living in it. But before you're gonna chirp me, I just have to get this out. I don't want Mason to be involved in this because he's gonna chirp me even harder. I got scammed. I'm pretty sure I got scammed this morning. Yeah, it happened.
It happens to everybody.
I realized. So luckily,
go into it. Let's hear about it.
So it was for $36. Nothing has other than that has come out of my bank account yet.
Okay.
And I got a confirmation email for my order, but it still doesn't. I woke up this morning. I was tired. I was doing my morning activities, and I come across these Instagram ads all the time for like closeout warehouse sales on like golf apparel. And typically it's not for any company that I'm like really interested in. And today it was a company, it was for Roback. And I was like, oh, okay. So I clicked on the link and then it took me to everything was labeled Roback, but it did say like it was a different website at the top. Like it was Roback like labeled stuff, but the website did say something. So it wasn't like it said roback.com/ like some weird stuff. Like it did say, and then I went to that website and it is an apparel website. Like it's an apparel like third party like distributor. So they have like women's clothes and like men's clothes and stuff. So I did that kind of background check at least, but it was still like the prices of everything was still like too good to be true. Like I got like 8 things for $40. But then in the back of my head, I'm like, I've been to pop-up stores where you get like a pair of Lulu pants for $20, $25. You know what I mean? So it's like, I've gotten legit stuff that way before, but in person, obviously not online. So I'm pretty sure I got scammed.
Well, $36 isn't the worst thing, but yeah, you probably got. I see those all the time. Then you just go into the comments, everyone's like, "Scam, scam, scam."
The thing was, it was a store. Scam. It was a story ad, so I couldn't. There was no comments to go to and like sift through. And so after I already made the order, I went to Reddit, and the comments were mixed. Some of the comments were like, yeah, I've gotten stuff that way before. It's legit. Some of the comments were like, no, totally fake. So like that didn't help me either. It just like made me even more confused. I'm like, is it real or not real? I guess I could just DM DM Roback and be like, hey, are these stories going around? Are they like legit? Is it actually your stuff that's overstocked? because the way at so and then I scrolled down to the bottom of the website and it had an FAQ and it said, how does this work? And it said something like I don't know the exact verbiage, but basically what it said was these companies have overstock of all of this product and don't want to sell it. So they basically hire these third party apparel companies to sell their stuff at cost. Like it's a scam.
There's
I got
truth
scammed.
in I was like, there's truth in that, but not
Yeah.
necessarily through the channel that you're
Yeah.
purchasing through.
Yeah. So the woman woke up and I greeted her with, "Good morning. I believe I got scammed for $36." So, but I keep checking my bank account, and that's the only thing. Like they haven't taken any more money out, even though they have my card information. So I'm just keeping an eye on on that.
Well done. Well done.
I don't know if I should actually just go ahead and claim fraud and deal with all of that, or is it going to be a thing where like if it's not what it is, they just took $36 from me and moved on, or are they going to like keep taking money from me?
I guess we'll find out.
No, I don't want to find out. I want to know before it happens so
Yeah,
I can
well, you
fix
shouldn't
it.
have gone on the sketchy
Fix
website and bought
fix it.
stuff.
Fix it. Yeah, you know, I questioned it before I did it, and I just was like,
Yeah, we've all been there.
yeah. Oh, okay. Well, Christopher Peterson Mason is going to get another max fine for his already several that he's got. So let's get the Florida
Does his
Panthers.
computer run on like hamsters or something? Like, what does it take?
I
so
told him
long
don't
for
even
to...
use your computer. I told him don't even use your computer. Use your phone. It's much better quality. Especially if he can find some headphones that works with his phone, I can actually do some magic with the audio. But that being said, there are no issues. Well, actually, I take that back. There's going to be some issues coming tomorrow morning for the Florida Panthers. But for right now, they are Stanley Cup champions. The Edmonton Oilers did not win it. That would have been the biggest collapse in probably. Do you think sports history?
Yeah.
Like,
I mean,
in
up 3-0 and then have them drag it all the way back
well,
and then lose it at home.
so it would probably be that, and then the Atlanta Falcons up 27 to 3 or whatever it was. Like that's pretty bad too.
I don't know. I still say that if Florida had, well, I mean, yes, now that is the worst, but I think had Edmonton won it, it would have.
You think that would have been that would have overtaken as the worst upset in sports history?
Yeah.
Yeah. That was it was a stressful game. There was times where I could not I had it on, but I was like looking at my phone because like I felt like if I watched the Oilers would score, and I didn't want.
I mean, they were all over Florida for most of that game. The problem is that McDavid was literally non-existent. I watched the first, and I don't even think I heard his name.
The craziest stat of that entire series is Leon Draisaitl not having a goal.
Well, I mean, broken rib and finger, kind of hard to shoot with that.
Guys have gotten it done.
Like, trying to drop to your knee and lean over that, if that's his ribs right here that are broken, you can't do that.
Is it confirmed that it's broken ribs?
Oh, yeah. No, they said broken. Oh, okay.
Wow.
Oh, hey, boys.
Wow, you can hear him.
I'm trying the phone. I'm trying the phone thing.
Yeah, it's much better.
Good.
It's much better. Now, do we tell him? Do we tell him what happened to me?
You died?
Yeah, probably. No, he clicked on the wrong. Well, I won't say that. You that could be down a whole different.
I got scammed I fell for a scam this morning. My first time. I fell for an Instagram ad scam for like some really cheap golf apparel. So I'm just checking my bank account every 15 minutes to make sure the Chinese government hasn't just drained me. Or some Indian guy in an apartment complex on the 8th floor in fucking
Orlando, the guy who's making all the noise above me right now.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's partying because he just got Stitch's bank information.
Yeah,
then he's gonna open it and realize there's $5 in there and be like,
I was gonna say
He's gonna do a deep dive on my career and be like, "Oh, god damn it! This was
He's
this
gonna
was the
start
wrong."
donating to you instead of taking your money.
The thing is, on an Instagram story ad like that, that's advertising for a big company like that. I can't be the only one that bought shit.
No, that's why they work.
Okay, that makes sense.
That's why they get money, Stitch. Because there's idiots that are like, I click, I pay $40, and there, poof. You do that a couple thousand times.
Oh, yeah, you're right. Okay, this is how scams work. I get it now. All right, shout out Bernie Madoff. Yeah, shout out Bernie Madoff. He fucked a lot of people. Pave the way for people to keep fucking people like me. So.
See, you get 1,000 people to do it before the website shuts down, and poof.
Oh, I get it now. Yeah, I'm dumb. I'm dumb as shit. I'm dumb. There's times when people will ask me, there's no way people will be like, there's no way you're that dumb. And I'm like, there's a way.
I'll surprise you, trust me. I'll find a way.
There's a way. There's a way. So Peterson, before you hopped on, we literally just started talking about Florida winning the cup, and just obviously, the question that I posed was, in sports history, would that have been the biggest collapse if Edmonton won that Game 7 of all the upsets in championship history of all the sports? Is that the biggest collapse?
No, probably not. Just because I don't think Florida was really good and they deserved to win the cup, but I don't think they had no one was calling them like a dream team or anything like that. And I think if they were labeled like a dream team from the start of the season and then they went to the finals, went up 3-0, then started to lose it, then people would say yes. But I think Florida came in probably middle of the Eastern Conference on most people's radars, and Edmonton was probably top of the Western Conference. So I think it was fair. It was a big collapse, obviously, for those 3 games, but they figured it out at the end. But I don't think it would have been the biggest. I think there's probably teams that have collapsed harder.
That brings up a good point, actually, because I didn't take into consideration like Russia losing to us in 1980. I stand by
what I said.
Do you? But I also didn't take into consideration like USA basketball and that fucking huge choke job they had. So that's a good.
That was more what I was thinking. Is
Mason's making a good point on
they're probably bigger choke in all of sports. In hockey, this could have probably been that.
Oh, it's definitely for the NHL.
The moment since the Kings did it last.
We don't talk about that.
Yeah.
We don't talk about that series.
Now, question for you guys. You two went to a Game 6 Stanley Cup final game. It wasn't Game 7, but it was Game 6. It was Penguins and the Sharks in the Shark Tank, and the Penguins won and got the cup. You watched how cool is it watching a cup celebration, like actually being there in the arena, even for a team that like you didn't want to win?
I just got goosebumps again.
Really? It's that cool?
I mean, okay, think of who we saw raise the cup too. It was
Crosby,
Sid.
Malkin.
Like Sid took the cup. Like that, he's like iconic for our era, our generation. Like he is the face of the NHL, and we saw him lift the cup. Like, yeah, I have goosebumps again. It was like one of the greatest hockey moments I've easily ever witnessed.
Mm-hmm. I'm trying to. Who else was on the Penguins that year? There was someone who it was their first cup it was pretty big for them. I'm trying to remember who it was. Because a lot of the core Penguins guys had already won.
I feel like you're right. I feel like we sat there and there was like a nice little golf clap of like, okay, good for him.
There was someone who had put in they had put in the time with another team and then maybe got traded to the Penguins.
Okay, hold on, I'll look it up. Was it 2000? That was 2017, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, let's look it up. Because you'll be able to tell.
Yeah,
you'll be able to tell just based on the name.
That I remember Spencer and I looking at each other and we were both like, "Oh, good for him." It was 2016, 2017 season, right?
No, 2016.
Yeah, 2016-2017 season.
No, 2015, 2016.
Really?
Yeah, I have the Stanley Cup Final Cup sitting in front of me, and it says Stanley Cup 2016.
Yeah, because the Penguins won 2 years in a row, and then Washington won the year after. So the Penguins won 16, 17.
Okay. Let's go through this. Let's go through the roster. Oh, was it Trevor Daley?
No,
It wasn't
No, I
Trevor
don't think
Daley?
so.
All right, let's go through the roster then. Josh
someone
Archibald,
actually knows.
Bo Bennett, Nick Bonino, Adam Clendenning, Ian Cole,
Nah,
Sidney
we
Crosby, Matt Cullen, Trevor Daley, Brian Dumoulin, Pascal Dupuis, Bobby Farnham, Eric Fair, Marc-Andre Fleury, Carl Hagelin, Patrick Hornquist, Phil Kessel, Tom Kuhnhackle. Oh, that's
it
it.
could have been Kessel.
I think it was Kessel because that was his first cup.
I feel like it was Kessel.
Yeah,
So Kessel,
it had to have
Kuhnhackle,
been
Chris
him.
Kunitz, Chris Letang, Ben Lovejoy, Oli Mata, Evgeny Malkin, Cal Murat, Matt Murray, David Perron.
Yeah, I'm going with
It was
Kessel
it was definitely Kessel. That was who it was. I bet
because
I
I feel
have the
like that
pic.
was like his back nine, and we're like, okay, he got his. Toronto can get off his back.
Yeah, because
The whole thing.
that was the cup where he won the cup, and then he posted the picture of him with all the hot dogs in the cup to taunt all the people afterwards.
Okay. So that leads me to this. Speaking, so guys you want to see win the cup. Obviously, there was tons of guys on that Sharks team. Now, obviously, being a Stars fan, Pavelski's retired. I would have loved for him to get his cup. I would love to have seen Thornton and Marlowe get their cups. But for guys that you want to see win the cup, between Florida and Edmonton, I think you can say, honestly, there was more guys, and specifically 1-1, that you really wanted to win, and that there was more guys on Florida than there was on Edmonton. Like, how do you not want Kyle Oposo to win a Stanley Cup? You know what I mean? Like, that was possibly most likely his last NHL game, regardless of if they won or lost. And the flip side of that is a lot of people probably did not want to see Corey Perry win a Stanley Cup.
And
Those are
Evander
literally the
Kane.
two names I wrote down.
Yeah.
Evander Kane on Edmonton too.
And Evander
Yeah,
Kane.
Evander. Yeah,
He's cursed after betting on the games in his own season. He's cursed. Every team
Well, he was
plays on.
acquitted of that, Mason. So you're still you don't. So
No,
you think he
cursed.
did that?
Allegedly.
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 Yeah, I
Cursed.
think Corey Perry has lost 4 Stanley Cup Finals in the last 5 years.
God, that's just heart
Yeah,
wrenching.
if I were
but
a
also so
team,
funny.
if I were a
It's
team, I would pick him up for a season, play him in the regular
he's done.
season,
He's got to
and
be
then
done, dude.
and
There's
then
no way.
Trade him at the
Here-
deadline. Use him for
it-
what he's worth in the regular season, and then get
Here's
rid of him to some
it's
other
not
team.
like a Marian Hossa situation where it took him like 2 teams in 3 years. This is like 4 teams in 5 years. 4 times he's had opportunities to win it in 5 years. He's got to be done. No, does he not retire?
I think he will. I mean, I don't know, unless somebody signs him. If someone's
If
going
he
to sign
keeps
you, why
making
would you
money,
retire? Yeah,
yeah. And also,
Do
I
you-
mean,
paycheck.
he a lot of teams find him attractive too because even though he's not winning the cup, he's been on 4 teams that have made it to the cup, and he's the one consistent piece between those 4 teams. Even though they've lost, but they have made it to the final. So every GM looks and they're like, well, maybe we get him. He's our lucky charm to get to the finals, and then we have the guys that get it done in the finals.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, I think a lot of people would have been kind of icky, like looking at their TV, like icky, if like watching him and Evander Kane both raise the cup.
I think,
Yeah.
I 100% agree.
I Edmonton will get theirs. You know, I hope it's not before Dallas because Dallas's window is smaller. Whose window is smaller?
Dallas.
Well, it all depends. If Draisaitl resigns there, then
Draisaitl.
Dallas is definitely smaller. But if Draisaitl moves on, their window's already shut.
Yeah. So
If Draisaitl leaves, McDavid will leave eventually too.
Yeah.
eventually,
I don't
whenever
think
his
McDavid. I
contract
don't
is
think
up.
McDavid will ever leave. I think McDavid's kind of like a Crosby, a Bergeron, where they're just like, nah, I don't care, good, bad. This is my team. This is my city. I'm not going anywhere.
I think it depends on how management deals it. Like Eichel. Eichel was willing to stay in Buffalo for whatever the fuck. He didn't care. He like it was like the team that drafted him. He was their
I mean,
pick, and
look,
management fucked
McDavid
that
runs
over.
that franchise. He got his coach in there. He's paid. He's take. I mean, he basically runs that city. So I feel like it's a little different than the Eichel situation, who was like, "Help me fix my neck," and they're like, "Man, I'm good."
So what you're saying is we have to see McDavid get an injury like that before we know if he's really going to react.
I mean, he shattered his leg, and they basically reinvented the wheel so they could fix it for him.
It is true.
Yeah,
It is
true,
true.
true. That's very true. That's very
And
true. But
he's
isn't Ken Holland going to Chicago?
He did. He did. He was let go. There was no confirmation on the Chicago
And
move. But
isn't and
even
I
if
and
Draisaitl moves on, they'll bring in 2 or 3 players to surround McDavid with.
true.
So
Do you now? Here's the biggest question of all. Well, there's two big question marks. Is Stuart Skinner their number one just going forward? Are they fully locked in on him? Are they going to give him number one goaltender money, or is it going to be a constant 1 and 2 battle for them?
they're going
You
to
know
keep looking. They're going to just
who?
they're going to constantly be looking for better options.
There's really nobody right now though, so he's got to be
No,
their number one right
I
now.
would propose a trade of Darnell Nurse for John Gibson and see what happens.
How you gotta deal Nurse, right?
I think Nurse. I don't know. He's just kind of the scapegoat there. They need a goalie. I know they're again. I'm not a capologist. I don't really know how that works out in the big picture of things. But John Gibson wants out of Anaheim. I think they need a goalie. Everyone thinks John Gibson is kind of over the hill. I think if he went to a competitive team, you'd see the dominant American goalie that we all thought he was going to be. So Darnell Nurse, John Gibson, probably some picks, some prospects, some money, a
Call,
bag of
call me
pucks
crazy.
somewhere.
Call me crazy. The Stars are going to lose Tanev. I wouldn't mind Darnell Nurse for a bottom 5-6 D.
But who can you move for him? You have to
There's
trade
guys.
because it's in the middle of his contract. So you'd have to move a lot. It's 9.5 million or something.
Oh, I don't want that. No,
yeah, no,
no,
he's not.
no.
It's not
Icky,
worth it.
icky,
That's what I
icky.
mean. That's why Anaheim. For me, Anaheim makes more sense because they have the money, they have the space,
Who are
they
you?
have low expectation. I know things. I woke up. I
You
had coffee.
don't
I
know
told you.
shit.
This is what Spencer dreamed about last night.
Yeah, he woke up hungover and had a dream about Darnell Nurse going to Anaheim and was like, "Well, this is what I'm rolling with today." You don't know shit.
Gibson, and Zegras for Nurse and some
There's
money.
no way they're giving up. They just got new uniforms. You think Zegras is? They're see no, they're not giving up Zegras.
I'm pretty sure I heard he kind of requested a trade again.
Again,
Some of these young guys don't want to go through this rebuild period. They want to
okay.
play
Well,
hockey.
we'll get to that. We'll get to that now. Okay, so last thing on the Florida Panthers Edmonton Oilers series. I'm very happy for Paul Maurice. I would have been not upset, but I would have been really like kind of bummed. I would have been upset for if not Jay Woodcroft, if Chris Knobloch, who came in for Jay Woodcroft, would have won a Stanley Cup his first season as a head coach, coming from juniors. You know what I mean? Over a guy who has put in so much time and been there and done the right things, and he's never been in the media for negativity other than telling reporters how it is sometimes. You know what I mean? He's very well known as a player's coach, kind of the same but opposite of a Tortorella, if that makes any sense. Like, runs a tight ship, expects a lot out of you, but doesn't. His tactics are different. So I would have been very bummed out if a guy like Knobloch, who's a very good coach, there's no, he say what you will. I think him going to the media was bullshit about penalties, and I think it put a lot of different shit in their favor, and I think it influenced a lot of different stuff throughout both the conference finals and the Stanley Cup. But I think at the end of the day, it's also respectable that he has the mindset that he's able and willing to kind of manipulate the media and the league at the same time that way. but I would have been bummed out if a guy like Maurice didn't win the Stanley Cup. I mean, that him grabbing the Stanley Cup and lifting it up and just saying "fuck yeah" over and over and over.
Mid-interview too, that was great.
It's just like, it made me almost want to cry. Like, you could tell that guy, like, that's like so much emotion, like, just fuck yeah, like he could have gone on probably for days. Like, it was just, but you felt so good for him being able to get that out and finally be able to like lift that thing. Also, last thing, Ekblad almost took a digger with the. Did you guys see that?
Almost always takes it. I mean, I always fear that of going ass over tea kettle, falling backwards, and just throwing the cup up into the air and seeing what happens.
Yeah, he took. Yeah, it was that was pretty bad.
What is going on in Tampa?
It looks. I was gonna go somewhere else, but that's fine. We'll go that way. And you know what? You drive the bus sometimes, but you always remember I'm Miss Frizzle. Okay, seatbelts, everyone. I drive the bus.
Yeah, well, sometimes you freeze mid-sentence, so we got to do our own thing.
I wasn't.
Miss Frizzle is known for leaving the bus and letting the kids do whatever the fuck they want for most of the episode, and then she conveniently comes in after they've solved their own problems. So, are you saying that Spencer and I just solve our own problems here?
Yeah, I guess, but we'll go there. So, Tampa Bay Lightning looks for what it looks like is they have traded Mikhail Sergachev to Utah to open up cap space to sign Jake Gensel, which is wild.
And then they're just letting Stamkos go.
And then Stamkos it's pretty well known. It's basically in writing that they don't know where he's going to go, but he is not going to be a member of the Tampa Bay Lightning next year.
He's at least testing the free agency market. I guess it's not to say he can't re-sign in Tampa.
If
he doesn't like what he sees out
be
there.
Utah hockey clubber. Hockey clubber.
No, it's going to be a team that was in either the Western Conference Finals or feels like they were one piece away in the second round from being in the conference finals or the Stanley Cup final. It's gonna be one of those 4 or 6 teams.
You think
it's going to be a team that it's going to be a team that it's going to be a team that is 100% going to be in the playoffs next year and going to make a run that thinks that they're one veteran away from getting it done.
I mean, everyone keeps saying Toronto, he's going to pull a Johnny T, go home.
It's possible. And then they add Tanev, so they bring in a veteran forward and they bring in a gritty defenseman to block shots. I mean, it makes a lot of sense. Do you move out Marner and pay those two that money? Fuck
instead?
Yes, you move it. If you can sign,
probably.
Listen. If you can sign Stamkos as a veteran on a veteran deal as like a present, just like be a Patrick Marleau, be a Joe Thornton kind of guy, and then you bring in Chris Tanev, you get Mitch Marner out of there.
I think so.
I mean. I don't know how they have the cap room to keep all 3, but at the same time, Toronto does seem to always have these weird ways of manipulating the cap and doing weird things to where all of a sudden they have money they didn't have. I don't know how that works. Spencer's the capologist. We're not. So Spencer, how does that work?
Well, and Stamkos is coming from Tampa where they know how to work the cap too, so he's got insider information.
Yeah. True.
I mean, the cap's filling up. They're going to have some sort of money to play with. If you can move Marner, that's a good 12, I don't know, at least 10 million you open up. I can't imagine Stamkos is asking for a ton. Like you said, I think he just wants another run at the cup. I don't think he wants to go someplace he's not going to play. So...
But is that do you think that's the right move for Tampa to get rid of those 2 guys and bring in Gensel? Does that push them over the hump as far as getting back to the Cup final?
No, you bring back McDonough, which I thought was interesting. It looked like you wanted to get the band back together to try and do another run at it, but then you move on from your captain.
But here's question. Now I'm going to pose this because I kind of forgot about the McDonough. are they looking at McDonough as their new but old Stamkos, and are they looking as Gensel as their Sergachev, but just on the offense, not the defensive side? You see what I'm saying? Like they flip flopped a veteran forward for a veteran D, and then flip flopped a young defenseman for a young forward. Are they saying I want more veteran? Maybe they're saying we need more veteran presence on the back end, and we need more offensive firepower than grit on the front end, and that's why they did the flip flop.
I mean, I don't know what's going on down there. I'm confused. I think they should have offered Stamkos what he wanted so he could have stayed there, but he still he puts up good numbers. It's not like he was, going down in his play or anything. So it just doesn't make sense.
Stamkos to the Florida Panthers.
That would be crazy.
Stamkos is probably going to go to Toronto
unreal.
if he goes. Stamkos probably ends up in Toronto if he goes anywhere.
That would be crazy. Yeah. That would be crazy. Well, Spencer, you brought it up earlier. You talked about these young kids, these young prospects, these young draft picks don't want to be parts of rebuilds. So Macklin Celebrini was taken first overall. He's going to San Jose. He's going to be a part of a rebuild. But the flip side is guys like Rutger McGroarty we've seen now is like, I want out of Winnipeg. We don't see eye to eye on my development and me being ready to be an NHL player. And I don't want to go down and go up and down and be an AHL player. So he wants out of Winnipeg. So do you think guys are more open? Is a guy like Celebrini more open to going to a team like San Jose because they have more young prospects that he can kind of fit in with over a guy like McGroarty who's like, I don't want to go to Winnipeg, this veteran team who doesn't think I'm ready to play?
I would say yes, because I think you can kind of see the long-term picture a little better in San Jose, where it's like, okay, we're bad because we're young. 5 years, we're not going to be young anymore. Maybe we're a little competitive, where it's like in Winnipeg, you have the team that you wanted. You thought that team was a Stanley Cup team, and they flopped on their face. So now what do you do? Like, there's no clear picture in Winnipeg of like, okay, now, like, they signed Hellebuck, they signed Scheifele. Like, what do you do now? You're stuck. Where it's like San Jose, you have Will Smith. Now you have Celebrini. You just brought up your AHL coach, which just developed all these young guys that are now on the team. So I think there's a better, okay, this is where we're going in San Jose, whereas Winnipeg's like, oh shit, the house is on fire. How do we put it out?
That's a very, very good point. I don't often agree with you.
So
I think you're stupid. I think you're stupid.
You're stupid and you're ugly and I don't like your face.
Yeah. You're tacky and I hate you. But that's a good point. They're two rebuilding teams, but they're two. Well, not. I wouldn't.
Winnipeg's not really rebuilding. They're about to be if they fuck up again.
And they clearly need to do something because there's a reason. I don't know it. I'm not a scientist. There's a reason you go from being one of the best teams in the NHL fighting for the President's Trophy all year to getting your ass beat in the first round.
He's freezing again.
And I know you're back. It tried.
Okay. There's a reason. Fuck. What was I saying?
There's a reason something. There's a reason your team was good, I guess. Something about how you go from first to last.
Oh yeah,
contending for President's trophies, and now
thank you, boys, thank you. There's got to be a reason why you go from competing for the President's Trophy to getting your ass beat in the first round by a team that you beat their ass all year. Like it's there's got to be something going on. So Winnipeg, I wouldn't say, is one piece away from they need to figure something out. And
they have an identity problem.
To your point, I can see why a young player like Rutger is like, dude, I don't fucking want to be especially if the team doesn't think he's ready to jump in the NHL and he does. He's like, fuck, I don't want to be a part of that. You don't think I'm ready? And there's an identity crisis? Who are we? I don't think he wants. Yeah, you're correct. No, like I said, it's not often true. But I guess Mason, what do you think? Do you think is are both players NHL ready? And do you think Celebrini is better set up for success so if McGroarty stays in Winnipeg, is Celebrini better set up for success in San Jose?
Oh,
Who right now is better set up for success going into one of those situations?
I think as of right now, it's probably Celebrini, but I think with the whole Winnipeg situation, if you get out of Winnipeg, it all depends on where you land. You could land somewhere that's even
He'd
worse.
have to land someplace he's going to play. Because you think of like
Yeah,
Will Smith and Celebrini, they're going to play top
they're
minutes
gonna,
like Chicago did with Bedard.
yep. And the good thing is San Jose is gonna have more cap space, so when everyone's ready, they'll be able to bring in some big players that are getting towards the end of their contracts. So they'll be able to bring in guys to kind of guide them after they run the team for a year or two. Then they'll bring in some more guys and then they'll be good to go. Whereas Winnipeg already tied up more of their money in big cap space contracts. They don't have the room to bring in more people to help develop these young players while still keeping these developed players on the roster. So you could just end up in a worse situation because where else are you going to play? You can't go to a contending team and expect to play big minutes. You're going to go to a team that's maybe more like Buffalo or something like that.
Every once in a while, Mason has a Goodwill Hunting moment where the chalk is in his hand and he's at the chalkboard and he's finishing. He finishes the equation and walks away. There's one of them. There's one of them. It just every once in a while, Logical Peterson comes out to play, and so yeah. I mean, you guys are right. You guys are both correct in that, and I hate saying that, but you guys are both correct in your points in both of those prospects. I think we are coming into an age where prospects have a lot more pull as far as where I want to go, and I don't want to be here anymore. Trade me right fucking now. You know,
Hang up.
like it. Yeah, and hang up. It's just the world we're living in now. Tomorrow is free agency. It's going to be nuts. It's going to be knucking futs because we've talked about some guys. Obviously, Gensel, Stamkos, possibilities on where they're going to go. Sergachev has already been traded. There's 3 guys though that are pretty big names that are still out there, and Spencer, you mentioned to me Kevin Hayes. Real quick, let's talk about that trade. He went from St. Louis to where?
Pittsburgh.
Pittsburgh. I like that for Pittsburgh. Here's my thing. I want Kevin Hayes because I'm a big Kevin Hayes fan. To find a place where he can sign a 5-8 year deal. I want him to stop bouncing around, and I know that obviously has to do with performance and it has to do with play and contracts and it's a business, but for him because again I'm a fan of him and his family. I want him to find a place. So I hope Pittsburgh is finally a spot where he signs at least a 3-5 year deal and he's there as a veteran presence for a while and he has opportunities to go back to the playoffs because that's what he deserves. So. I think that's a good spot for him. I think that's a good pickup for a veteran.
They're kind of one of those teams in a weird spot too. So I think picking up a little bit of veteran presence for them to hang out with Sid is not a horrible thing before they got to reset when Sid and Malkin walk away.
Olmark to Ottawa. Is this what Ottawa needed? I think it's almost bad for both teams. What does Boston do?
I didn't get this at all.
Boston brings in Korpisalo, who is statistically one of the worst goalies in the league last year. When they had a great tandem, and Olmark said he was cool with staying there and being part of that tandem.
No more goalie hugs.
I thought this was such a weird move. I think Olmark must have wanted a little more money than Boston was willing to offer him, since he's pretty close to on his back 9, if not back 3. So I don't know. It was just a weird move. Ottawa's in a weird space.
We need Brady Tkachuk in the playoffs. We need him in the playoffs. We've got to have
Yeah, no, I mean, and especially after he's going to see his brother win the Stanley Cup, you think that kid's not going to be motivated as shit now, and then
But
he's got to go back to the dumpster fire that is Ottawa?
is Olmark the goalie fix for them? That's the
No,
question.
no, he's not a bona fide 70-game starter.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, you could argue that because it was a great tandem, meaning it was even.
They fed off each other.
Yeah, they fed off each other and they
games.
played the same amount of
games. He never
games.
even
Yeah,
played back-to-back games, I don't think.
I think it's very similar to the Stars when we had Ben Bishop and Anton Hudobin, and Ben Bishop got hurt, and Hudobin took over the starting role to get them into the bubble and then go to the final. Then the next year, they signed him to a decent deal, thinking like he can handle, and he could not handle. He was not an 82 game season goalie. He was a system tandem goalie, and that was like evident like within the first 20 games of the next season. And that's when they really started, focusing on Ottinger and bringing him up and giving him time and things like that. It's a weird trade for both teams.
I thought it was a strange move. I don't get it. I don't think either team's going to be pleased with it.
Speaking of Boston, real quick, when we think of players who look good in other teams' uniforms and then players who look weird in other teams, like Patrick Kane looked good in a Red Wings uniform. He's probably going to get traded again. He's probably going to go somewhere else. But that 88 and the red and white and the all red, it looked good. It was a good look. And then guys look weird, like Patrick Marleau looked weird. To me, he looked weird in Toronto. He looked weird in Pittsburgh. Like it did, like the uniforms just didn't fit. Like he was just a shark.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like that's Patrick. Joe Thornton looked good in Florida. I think the Florida Panthers red kind of fit Jumbo Joe and his tan and like that. That was a good look for him. Did I freeze?
Yeah, you did freeze. But we got the gist of what you were saying about Joe Thornton. Yes, Joe Thornton did look good in Florida.
Okay.
It's hard to make the Florida uniforms look bad.
I think Leon Draisaitl.
It's hard to make Joe Thornton look bad.
True. I think Leon Draisaitl would look great in a Boston Bruins uniform.
See, I think it'd look weird.
I think it would. I think Leon Draisaitl would look fantastic in the blue, in the black and yellow, in the Boston. I think he looks. I think he looks. He is. I think Leon Draisaitl is a Boston Bruin.
I think I know where you're coming from. He plays for Germany for international.
I was just thinking about that. When they have a black
Germany
jersey.
Germany has all black uniforms with yellow and red trim on it. So he does look good in those uniforms. So I will give you that. He already does rock something similar.
Yeah,
so.
You are Matt Damon. Good Will Hunting today. You were just making all the connections.
Guy gets headphones and suddenly he can think.
I know. I didn't think about that. I didn't think about the connection with Germany and the all black and the yellow mixed in there. Like, yeah, but maybe that's it. Yeah, maybe it's just a black. Actually, you're right, because when I picture him in that all black Tampa uniform, he looks pretty good too. I think it's just a black.
Think about like the black carbon San Jose Sharks that they had too. Like he would look pretty nasty in that.
He would look pretty. I'm just gonna say it. He would look good in that new black LA Kings uniform as well. Okay, it's a black jersey thing. It's a Germany.
Black,
yeah, it's just a black.
Guys
okay,
look good in black. Certain guys look good in black.
The one I will say,
he looked pretty terrible in Dallas green. I can tell you that much.
I will agree with that. He would look weird.
Even though
I will not say. I will not stand here and say he would look good in Victory Green. He would look very weird. Now, contrary to my black jersey comment point, I think he would look a little off in Carolina black and red. No?
Yeah.
I think that's a different vibe than all the other ones we mentioned.
I think he stays in Edmonton.
Do you think he stays? All right. Okay, that's fine. That's fine.
Yeah.
That's fine. Brandon Montour. You think he's gone? He got his cup. You think he's going to get the money now?
Yeah, he's probably on his way somewhere. I don't think I don't think he had a great playoff to get what he wants there.
He's going to get paid, but he's going to get paid though.
That's what I mean, and I think he's going to want more than Florida's going to offer.
What are some options? I haven't really seen or heard of any teams that are really okay, this is a possibility. Like what are we looking at here for him? Do we think
Utah?
Anybody?
Everybody's going to Utah,
dude. If Utah got Sergachev and Montour in free agency
as their bad start to your franchise.
as their 1 and 2 defenseman.
But yeah, I don't really know where else he would fit, to be honest.
and then Jonathan Marchessault.
I don't know. I got nothing. That's really all I got. And that's just a shot out of left field because I don't know what their team looks like and who's in it. It's just weird saying Utah. I still want to say Arizona or the Coyotes, but
Is
Yeah.
is
It's
Utah
weird. It's
possible?
just weird that Utah doesn't have a name to refer to them as. Like, you just have to call them Utah. You can't
that was
say
okay. So during
the
I think we're like
Bandits or whatever.
kind of branch off, but talking about the draft when they drafted Ty Ginlow, which I think is cool in itself.
Great.
But I forget who was announcing the draft. He goes, and the first Utah hockey guy is Ty Ginla.
Exactly. It's just
And
weird.
it just made me laugh how he said the first Utah hockey guy.
It's just for a season. Just for a season.
They'll
And
announce it
it's
mid-season. I bet they announce it by the All-Star. Well, I guess there is no All-Star break by the Olympic break
it's a
or by the Four
fantastic
Seasons thing.
it's a fantastic marketing scheme too, because when the fans, it's probably already set in for a lot of them. When you realize Spencer's dying. Oh
Yeah.
God.
We're good. We're good.
Okay. When you realize that all of the merchandise from this year saying Utah Hockey Club is maybe sold, but it's not, like, those are gonna be one-offs eventually. I was
Collector
around I
items.
was around for Utah Hockey Club, and then they switched over.
Yeah.
So like all those merch, all the team stores, they're gonna switch merchandise over. I'm sure they will still sell and use the Utah Hockey Club as like a vintage third, which is great. That's also a great marketing scheme. 10 years from
Hmm.
now, you bring out a Utah Hockey Club third jersey. It's brilliant. 5 years from now, you know what I mean? Like
I
that's a
was gonna say
brilliant.
they'll do it. They'll do it as soon as Fanatics offers a third
They'll
jersey.
do it in
That'll just
five
be
years
their
when they get
third.
their first Winter Classic. They'll do a throwback to the Utah Hockey
Oh,
Club.
the Utah
Yeah.
Winter Classic is going to be
Yeah,
fantastic, and then they throw it back to Utah Hockey Club and come out with some sick powder blue like
that's what I
throwback.
mean.
Yeah,
Like,
it's going to be dirty.
yeah, it's a marketing genius, and I don't know if we'll throw a shout out to the Missing Curfew guys, but they said they kind of talked about sitting down with Ryan Smith or
They
whatever, and
played golf with him.
they're like, this guy is just as cool can be.
Yeah, they said he's the coolest guy that doesn't drink.
Yeah, like that's so I think he's great for the NHL. I'm really excited. I mean, and he's making moves. They're doing something over there. They're not saying we're going to be. I mean, they're not an expansion team. They're right back into this saying, we believe in this team, we believe in these players, and we're going to bring some things in to be competitive.
Yeah. Do we have is Utah also a decent landing spot for a guy like Jonathan Marchessault?
I don't see why it wouldn't be a good landing spot for just about anybody right now. I mean,
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think again, this isn't an expansion team. It's a team that I mean, I don't know, a team that drafted pretty well. Yeah, they lost draft picks because of making prospects ride a bike for too long or something. I don't know. But I mean, they have a good prospect pool, and they have Clayton Keller
You
is
know,
a
it's
good player
unfortunate.
to build your team around.
The prospects that had to ride the bikes probably felt like the kids having to make my fake apparel this morning.
I honestly forget what they did, but I think it was something along those lines.
It was
But
actually Fanatics that scammed you. It's Fanatics Golf
Yeah,
Apparel. The NHL is getting scammed by
it just could.
Fanatics for the
Yeah.
jerseys.
No, you bring up a good point. Well, why wouldn't you want to go play for Utah right now? It'd be it's the new it's the new Seattle. You know what I mean?
Well, and we saw firsthand how wild their fans were just for college club games. Like Utah State skating onto the rink, just getting the middle finger from everyone in that entire city shoved into that tiny hockey rink. Like that place was awesome to play at. So I
yeah.
can only imagine that cranked to 100 for an NHL game. The first NHL game in Utah, let alone.
Okay, on the count of three, are you guys ready?
no,
Okay.
What are we supposed to say on the count
Fucking
of
look at me
three?
like fucking look at me like that. Okay, on the count of three, simultaneously, we're gonna say what we all think the name after next year will be for 2020, for 2025, 2026.
there's only one
Okay?
answer.
Shh. On the count of three. 1, 2, 3. Yeti.
Pioneers.
Oh wow,
Spencer didn't say anything.
Pioneers? Because there's only one answer. It's
Yeah.
going to be Yeti.
Leave
It's
it to
probably
Spencer
gonna
to
be
not
Yeti, but
participate.
I had to go with something different because I assumed
Well, I
Spencer
was going
was
to say
gonna
the
say Yeti.
Outlaws. I was going to say Outlaws. I don't mind the Outlaws. That's my
Outlaws just
wild
sounds
card
like an
name.
arena football team.
You sound like an arena football team.
Yeah, but there's like an NFL team called the Oakland Raiders, so it's better. It's like the
It's the
same.
Las
It's the same
Vegas
level as
Raiders.
it's the same level as that. Or yeah, Oakland Raiders, Vegas Raiders, LA
Uh-oh, Mason's
Raiders.
going to have some angry
The
Raiders fans that want his
the
throat
most
now.
garbage franchise in the NFL. Let me
Oh, God, I'm
start
clipping
by
this.
saying that.
No, I mean
Yeah,
it's going to be Yeti. I don't think anybody like it's one of those things where if they don't do Yeti, people are just going to be upset.
They
people are
will
just gonna
riot. The people will riot.
No, they're
all the
Mormons. The
Utah
people will
Etsy
I
yell.
was
moms
going
are
to
just
ask
gonna
you,
make their own T-shirts and just show up to the games with Yeti stuff that
Mason,
they just make at
Mason, what
home.
does a Mormon riot look like? What are we working with on a if a Mormon riot breaks out?
We're about to get canceled.
They go to the liquor stores and they grab all the bottles for Molotov cocktails instead of drinking them.
That's okay. That's a possibility.
Boo.
Yeah, what's gonna get us
I'm keeping
canceled?
it clean. I'm
What's
keeping
gonna
it clean.
what's gonna get us canceled is me indentured kids making my cheap golf apparel that I got scammed. That's what's gonna get us canceled when people find out that some poor kid in the Philippines had to make my 3 polos and 2 hoodies for a penny.
I
Oh, I
can't wait till they
guarantee
show
you.
up and they're about this big.
Yeah, or they
They're actually koozies. They're little bottle shirts. They're
They're
like
shirts for
koozies to
his
put on.
Kindle.
Yeah, I feel like I placed my first order on Temu. I feel like I feel like I ordered something off Temu, but
I
I
saw something earlier today and I was like, damn, that's really cool. And it was like, click the link. I clicked the link and as soon as I saw the word Timu up top, I just clicked the X. I was like, absolutely not. Not fucking cool anymore.
so we have to give a shout out. We do have to say thank you to Mike Babcock for getting our season this year going off to a hot start with asking players for dick pics. So very was that not what he did? Oh, was
Is
I
that not
over
what he was
exaggerating?
doing?
Was I over exaggerating that a little bit? But yeah, shout out to Mikey boy for keeping things spicy and letting our season get off to just a great start with that whole debacle. So who does Quinville get a job? I was gonna say who
I
gets a
don't
job
really
first, but I don't
understand
think
what
Babcock will ever
happens
coach
there.
again.
No, Babcock won't ever coach again. I personally feel, and I'm biased because I played with his kid in Pee Wee's. I'll pull up, Parrish, but I think Quinville should get another job at some
He's
point.
gonna watch this episode.
Uh, so you think Quinville deserves another shot?
I realize he did something shady, but I don't considering like the coaches that have gotten a second chance in the NHL, I don't think he did anything to not deserve a second chance.
I think what everybody is sort of waiting for is because we all know that he did have a conversation with Kyle Beach. I think what everybody is waiting for is Kyle Beach to kind of come out and say, "We talked, things are squashed. I forgive him." And then
He's
I
got to
think
come
it
out
would be a lot.
publicly and talk about this.
I think, yeah, and I think a lot of people probably need some reassurance from the person that he fucked over, really, really bad, saying, "I forgive him." He has shown to me that he's worked on never letting something like this happen again. I think that's what we're all kind of waiting for. But I do think he will get a job here soon. I was surprised he wasn't a candidate for a larger candidate for some of these ones where guys did get hired. Like a team like Ottawa, who hired Travis Green, who really needs a guy to go in there and just fucking turn things around. I think if you had to pick between those two, I think Quinville gets that job done sooner. Same, I don't know. Brewery Bay feels like the right guy for Toronto, but same could be said for Quinville as well. So we'll see. We'll see. Mason, what's your opinion? Do you think more needs to come out publicly for people to feel comfortable with him being a head coach?
Yeah, I think so. I think the the whole just cancel culture kind of thing just once they have their grip on you, they're never going to let go, especially if you've done something. You have to do everything in your power to make up for it. I don't think we're quite there yet. I think it's still fresh in people's minds. I know a lot of people, when you say the word Chicago Blackhawks, it still comes up in conversation in the same light as maybe like Penn State did back in those days when that was still kind of a fresh thing. And I think Penn State is still reeling from the effects of that. And I think Chicago is maybe not as well known to the sports community as maybe the Penn State thing was, but I think it's just like a similar situation where it's just going to take a very long time for all the people involved, whether they had a tiny role to play or a huge role to play.
True. Very good points. Very good points. Well, boys, that's kind of the NHL season in a nutshell. I know we missed like some trades and we didn't go over everything,
No,
but
this is the NHL in the nutshell. Oh no, I'm the NHL in the nutshell.
You want to know what the omen for this coming season is, though?
You're
like
so
that. That was
dumb.
beautiful.
God damn it.
Only a nut knows what it's like to be in a nutshell.
You're so stupid. Yeah, you're so. That's one of those ones where, yeah. Oh
that
my
was
god.
For Stu. That was
yeah.
for Stu.
Mason, what's the omen?
The Capitals drafted. You remember Miroslav Shatan? His last name spelled Satan.
Yeah. Did he pass away in that? Did he pass away in that plane crash?
I think so. They drafted his son yesterday. His son with the exact same name was drafted by the Capitals. So the son of Satan has been drafted into the NHL.
Okay. I like how you're like his son with the exact same name. Well, no shit, his son has the exact same name.
No, but like even the same first name. His first name is Miroslav too. So he's like a junior.
Yeah, a junior Satan.
Satan Jr. Yeah.
Satan Jr.
You know, as soon as he plays his first game, the fans are gonna roll with something.
So is your omen the Caps are gonna win the cup because they drafted the son of Satan?
I'm just saying the son of Satan has been drafted into the NHL, so it's probably gonna be a wacky year this year.
Just pointing out, I want everybody to be known. I want everybody to know that the son of Satan has been drafted.
We started the season with Mason with a tinfoil hat on, and we will end the season with Mason
with a tinfoil ready for next year.
Yeah. Real quick, I have a funny golf story. I did get a new driver. It's very nice. I love it. Shout out Callaway, even though you didn't give it to me for free.
Yeah, I'm gonna get one.
Yeah, I got the new AI Smoke. It's nice. It's significantly helped my distance. It hasn't helped, like my swing is still my swing sometimes, but it's a lot better. Anyways, funny story.
Slices is a lot further now.
Sometimes yes, which I was telling Spencer sometimes gets me out of trouble because it's at least far enough to where I'm past some of the shit.
Now you know what it's like to be me.
Yeah, true. Actually, that's very right. Mason slices so hard, but he hits it so far that it gets around everything. And he still has these weird angles and opportunities to, yes. And I do kind of feel it. But funny story, I went to go use it for my first round the other morning, and I had a 7:30 tee time. So I check in, get my cart and everything. The guy at the check-in's like, hey, the twosome with you hasn't checked in yet. I'm like, no worries, I'll see him at the tee box. So I'm at the tee box. And this is actually a course I found about 15 minutes down the road from me. It's in a gated community. It's a private course, but not private. It's open to the public, but obviously a lot of memberships, a lot of custom golf carts. Like, if you live in that it's my dream. I want to move there. I walk by some sick golf carts. I'm talking like AC units inside and like stereos, like they're decked out. But it's a fun little course that I found for a great price. But anyways, I go there and this old couple, I'm probably 70s, pulls up in their custom cart behind me, and I'm like, okay, this will be a nice little, easy round. I'm sure they hit it straight. They'll be slower, but they'll hit it straight at least, and they have a cool cart. So I'm like, hey, are you 7:30 with me? And they're like, no, we're 7:40. And I was like, oh, okay, it's 7:28. So I'm like, did you see anybody? Like, was there another twosome behind you guys? Or no, we didn't see anybody. There was nobody in the pro shop either. I'm like, okay. So now it's 7:30, and I'm like, well, I'm gonna tee off. It's my tee time. They're 10 minutes. They're behind me. I'm not gonna wait for two guys I don't know. So I'm gonna tee off, and so I teed off, and I go to my ball. It took me a minute to find it just because there were some leaves where I hit it, and I'm going. And when I find my ball, I look back. Now these two guys are on the tee box, so it's like 7:34, 7:35, and they're on the tee box now. So I like wave them on. One guy hooks one out. The first guy hooks one out, hits a breakfast ball. Okay, not great in play. Second guy hits like three balls, hits one out, and then hits two like 20 yards off to the right. So in my head, and they have a little kid with them. Not a problem because I'm eventually going to have a son with me. The issue in
wait, what?
Yeah, you didn't. It's a boy.
I don't think. Oh yeah, we knew that.
Yeah, you guys knew that.
Yeah,
you guys
we
knew
knew
it's
that.
a boy.
Okay,
You guys
move
knew
on.
it's a
Yeah,
boy.
move
Anyways,
on.
okay. I was like, I told you guys. Anyways,
Sorry, I have like 15 friends who are pregnant, so I'm waiting on
yeah,
like
it's
19 different genders.
My
Yeah,
issue.
don't you forget about little Corey Perry Stinchfield.
Yeah, my issue. Don't say that. My issue with the situation was they were all three in the same cart and they were hitting their balls very far away from each other with the little kid running around. You know what I mean? Like in my head, I was like, this is a recipe for disaster. So I'm like, whatever. So I wave them on. They get to the guy's ball that's decent. I'd already hit my shot, so I'm in front of the green, just a chip on. This guy chunks one 5 yards. I'm talking like 5 yards. Okay, I'm not talking shit. I do it all the time. Chunks another one. We're like 160, 170 away from the green. Chunks another one like 5 yards. So now he's lying. Now he's lying for par on his next shot. Hits one decent, but puts it into the greenside bunker on the right. So now he's lying bogey in the bunker. So I'm like, okay, so the other guy hits. I'm not even paying attention to the other guy anymore. So I just go to my ball. I chip on a little bit past, and I'm waiting for them to kind of get to the green. Guy goes in the bunker, just hits sand. No ball comes out. So now he's lying double in the bunker. Just hits sand again. No ball comes out again. So now he's hitting for triple in the same bunker that he's in. Then the statement on the first hole at 7:30, 7:40 at this point in the morning when he's hitting for triple out of the greenside bunker goes, golf is fun. I'm having fun. And I went, oh God, I do not want to be a part of this all day long. If I'm his buddy, I'm like, pick it up. It's triple. Let's just, it's your warm up hole. We got a group behind us. It's the morning. Let's just move on to the next hole. Next hole's a par 3. So it's like an easy little transition. Like, let's just move on to this. Like, I would tell him, let's just move on. Hits his ball out of the bunker, into the bunker on the backside of the green.
Oh.
Has no intention of picking this ball up. Is like goes and grabs another club and is like has every intention of playing this hole out. And I get the words, hey guys. I hated being that guy, but I saw an opportunity. There was no one in front of me, so I saw a gap opportunity here. And I said, hey guys, if it's cool, and before I could get any more words out, the other guy that wasn't playing out of the bunkers goes, yeah, man, if I were you, I'd go ahead and do it too. Like he just knew I was going to say it. He goes, and then the other guy that was walking to the other bunker turned around and goes, oh, I encourage you to play through. And I was like, okay, cool. So I just quickly just sent a putt up there, just putted out for bogey just to get away, and just drove on. And I was like, I got to get away from these things. But it's the fact both of them were like, no, you're cool. We know we're bad. We know we're really bad. Like you're good. No worries. But
I feel like that's the beauty of playing with people that are not good and are new is their etiquette may be less, and it may suck when it comes to them like fixing divots or shit like that. But also at the same time, they don't have expectations of you to be like a gentleman and stick it out for the round. They're like, oh yeah, we're terrible. Like, go play
through. Yeah, play through us. That's
the new golf courtesy that wasn't there before. Because I feel like back in the day, if you went to the course and you got paired with someone who just fucking sucks, you had a day that fucking sucked. You were there for 6+ hours, and if you didn't bring enough beer in your bag, you're spending $75 on beers because that's the only thing that's going to get you through watching what's his name try to chip out of the sand 4 times. But
That's a
nowadays, people are so cool about it now.
That's a good point, and I will we'll end it after this. But that's such a good point because what I've noticed is the people I'm waiting on the most on a golf course, where I'm like, holy shit, these guys are so slow, are not guys that are terrible. It's guys that are older and decent that are putting everything out. There's no gimmies.
They're
There's
lining up
no
their 2 foot
they're
putts, and you're
lining
like, just let that guy pick it up.
they're taking the
Yeah,
flag out to line up a 1 foot putt. You know what I mean? And it's like
Yeah.
they're taking their sweet time. Those guys never let you play through. They will never say, "Hey, we're members. We're mingling, talking, like whatever. Go play through." It's always the guys that are like, "We just hit 4 off the fucking tee. Go ahead, guys. Like we're gonna be here a minute." Like you make a very good point on that. I think golf etiquette has flipped. Whereas like I look at golf etiquette from a standpoint of pace of play compared to how you're treating the course.
Yeah.
If you're taking a pee on a tree, I don't care. If you take a divot in the fairway and drive away without filling it with sand, I'm not going to chirp you for it because I do that all the time as well. I think if you take care of the course in return takes care of you. But I do forget sometimes. So I'm not the guy. I will chirp you if you're the 4 guys on the green putting
with a
when you're
hole
not
open in front of you.
with everything open.
Yeah.
And I will also chirp you when you're the guys on the tee box, when the group who waits for the group in front of you to get until they're all the way on the green to tee off. Like you are not driving the ball 340. Shut the fuck up. Like fucking keep it moving. But anyways, there's my rant. There's my little golf story.
Well, yeah, and I mean, if you're chill on the golf course, if you're nice to people and they're nice to you, you're both going to be loose going into your next shot. If you go up to someone and say, "Hey, can I play through?" and they start an altercation with you, you're both going into your next shot tense, and you're both going to shank them. And so
True.
you might as well just let that guy play through because you're both going to have a better day for it.
True. It's like getting a guy at the front desk when you check in for your round who's a dickhead. It just sets you up for disaster on the first hole because you're fucking mad.
You're going to use a breakfast ball when you have that one guy.
Yeah. Yeah. Question, Mason, I'm going to put you on blast before we end it. You bachelor party. Where are you at? You coming to Austin? What's going on? Where are you leaning?
Still working on it. It's
all
still
right.
It's a 50-50 right now.
All right. We'll work on it. We'll work on it. Okay, work on it. All right, boys. We got anything else?
Nope. That's all I got.
All right.
Yep,
well, team high, let them fly. Happy Sunday. Happy Sunday fun day. That's all I got. Visit getbirdiebrain.com to get your Birdie Brain nootropics today. Tell them the guys at Fairway 4 Checks sent you. They'll probably say, "Who the fuck is that?" But it's worth a shot. Like, subscribe everywhere you see. Go subscribe to the YouTube channel. Like and subscribe to the Spotify. It is available everywhere you get your podcasts. Everywhere podcasts are available. That is Fairway 4 Checks. We will see you next time, Spencer.
Peace.